Piers Morgan doesn't understand what freedom of speech is. Piers Morgan has also hosted Suhail Shaheen, the Taliban spokesperson. Jeez. Wahid Asif Shaita, an Islamist extremist leader. Jeremy Corbyn, the anti-Semitic Labour Party leader. Just Piers, stop it. I'm sorry. Fraud. There we go.
Steven Crowder got into an extremely heated debate here with Piers Morgan on Piers Morgan's own show, Piers Morgan Uncensored. And when Steven Crowder went on this show, it was under the pretense that Steven Crowder had strongly criticized Piers Morgan for a lot of stances that he had been taking recently. Stuff like Elon Musk allowing Alex Jones back onto his platform. And it went so far, Steven Crowder did, on his own show to call Piers Morgan a fraud over and over and over again. And like I always love to see, Piers Morgan, instead of responding to him on his own show passive aggressively and kind of making side comments, he just said, hey, Steven Crowder, let's come on to my show and let's just have a debate about the whole thing so you can tell me why I'm a fraud to my face. And that's exactly what Steven Crowder did here on this episode of Piers Morgan Uncensored. He did it on Piers Morgan's own show. Let's get into this clip here where Steven Crowder absolutely destroys Piers Morgan for his woke takes about Alex Jones and about Elon Musk on his own show.
Welcome back to Uncensored. Last week I criticised Elon Musk's decision to allow the massacre-denying conspiracy theorist Alex Jones to return to X, formerly Twitter. Some people weren't happy. They included the influential conservative personality Steven Crowder. This is what he had to say on his show, Louder with Crowder, about me.
This brings us to Piers Morgan's rules for me. He hosted Alex Jones on his very own program this year. Piers Morgan doesn't understand what freedom of speech is. Piers Morgan has also hosted Suhail Shaheen, the Taliban spokesperson. Jeez. Wahid Asif Shaita, an Islamist extremist leader. Jeremy Corbyn, the anti-Semitic Labour Party leader. Just Piers, stop it. I'm sorry. Fraud. There we go.
Well, in the spirit of hosting very controversial people on my free speech platform.
And there you see Piers Morgan calls it a free speech platform. It's a kind of a passive aggressive way of saying you're wrong because I'm just trying to have a free speech platform. And I agree, that's good. Good job, Piers Morgan. You should do that. And you have done a great job at that, of bringing on all these different people, Alex Jones, all these people that Steven Crowder just listed off, Steven Crowder himself. A lot of controversial figures have been on Piers Morgan's show from a lot of different ideologies, and he's done a great job at that. The thing is, that's exactly what Elon Musk is trying to do with Twitter or with X. He's trying to have a free speech platform. You know, whether or not he's failed or succeeded, he's definitely done a better job than anybody else who claimed that they had a free speech platform, other than maybe Rumble. But in terms of actually growing the platform and having a lot of people on it, making it, you know, as profitable as possible, he's definitely done the best job out of anyone else out there at making the free speech platform. So what Steven Crowder is saying is that he's not saying that you shouldn't have all of these people on. He's just telling Piers Morgan that if you're also going to attempt to have a free speech platform with Piers Morgan Uncensored, Steven Crowder is saying that you can't criticize Elon Musk for doing the same exact thing that you're doing. It's kind of ridiculous.
I'm now joined by Steven Crowder, who can call me a free speech hypocrite to my face. Mr. Crowder, good day to you. How are you?
Well, thank you, Piers. Merry Christmas. And let me say off the bat, I do actually appreciate about you. Your audience may not know how rare this is, that you do these interviews live, you don't chop them up, you actually have a discussion, and I've been advocating for that my whole life. So really, I appreciate it. Those are steps in the right direction.
Well, they are. And to be honest with you, the debate about what constitutes free speech and whether there should be limits, and if there should be, what they are, I think is really interesting. And a lot of people have strong opinions about this. And I'm perfectly happy to be proven wrong, or to at least have a debate with someone who's got strong views that don't necessarily tally with mine. So I welcome you to the programme. Let's start with your assessment that I'm a free speech hypocrite. So articulate to me why you believe that.
I believe the word I used there was fraud.
You earlier used hypocrite.
Did I earlier? Okay, I don't remember saying it, but I'll take your word for it. And to some degree, I believe it. Look, I think that in hosting a show uncensored.
If you enjoy content like this, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
I can't see you, but I know you put up the very festive holly leaf on the globe there. It is incumbent upon you. You will say, I believe in the concept of free speech. Now, I'll be very clear in my definition of free speech. It's the constitutional definition of freedom of speech. All speech is permissible outside of a crime. And we have very clear parameters, and these have been affirmed by the Supreme Court, as to what that is. that's a proactive call for violence. The crime is not the speech. The crime is the action causing violence on purpose. Outside of that, everything is permissible. But for a show uncensored, and I know that you said there's a difference between across the pond there, and obviously in the United States, we have a First Amendment that you don't. How would you define freedom of speech?
Well,
What is permissible?
I don't think we're as far apart as you think. I mean, you talk about the First Amendment not protecting, for example, crime. It's a little bit more complicated. For example, it doesn't protect you if you deliberately defame somebody. And my argument about Alex Jones in particular was that he's just been punished with over $1 billion fine in one of the biggest defamation cases in modern American history for deliberately telling lies about the families of the poor victims.
Yeah, and look, maybe Alex Jones did go a bit too far. I don't know. I'm not an expert on that whole situation. Maybe he did go a bit too far. Let's just grant them that. But if you're someone like Piers Morgan, and if you're someone like Steven Crowder, someone like me, or like you watching this video who's very connected to this space, you know that lawsuits have been used as a form of intimidation. You know, the law has been used as a form of intimidation for people who say things that they don't want those things to actually get out to people. I'm not saying 100% that's happening to Alex Jones, but to immediately see the lawsuits coming in and immediately write him off as just some lunatic that needs to be banned and never platformed again, it's just a little bit naive and a little bit dumb. And like Steven Crowder said, a bit hypocritical as well, whenever you understand and you're as well connected to this space as someone like Piers Morgan is, or like Steven Crowder is, and like you and like me watching, or you watching this video, and like myself, you know, we're so connected to this space. We've seen this happen so many times. You kind of expect, like, whenever something as the Alex Jones situation goes down, you start to immediately wonder, wait, is there something nefarious going on here, or did he really just do something wrong? And the fact that Piers Morgan didn't even wonder that question, didn't even ponder it, it's kind of a red flag. And I am kind of on Steven Crowder's side here, where it just feels a bit hypocritical and way too quick to jump to conclusions there. And in my opinion, let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. This feels a little bit hypocritical, and it does feel a little bit fraudulent as well, like Steven Crowder said.
Victims of the Sandy Hook massacre over a sustained period of time, which led to them getting direct harassment and other criminal activity. So I was joining all the dots there of his particular situation, and I concurred with Elon Musk's original view when he was asked about it when he first bought Twitter last year, which was he was not going to allow him back on. He's now changed his mind, but my opinion was based on the Constitution of the United States not protecting you if you are guilty of defamation.
Well, okay, so I'm going to have to take the rounds out of that magazine from how loaded that question was, and so much misinformation there. And that's the beauty of the freedom of speech. You can say that, you can speak misinformation, and you have the right to, for example, saying he knowingly lied. Look, I'm not in the business of defending everything that Alex Jones has said, okay? But if you're going to say the 22 minutes out of 8,000 hours of broadcast time for which he apologized, acknowledged that he was wrong, constitutes what you are saying is proactively lying. That is a very dangerous precedent. It's not accurate.
Hang on, Stephen.
It's not accurate.
Stephen, he did deliberately lie for a sustained period of time, for years, about these families. He knew Sandy Hook.
Tell me how he deliberately lied.
He knew that.
Tell me how he deliberately
lied. And he was found to have deliberately lied.
Tell me how he deliberately lied.
And by the way, in his defense, he
tried... Tell me how he deliberately lied, please.
In his defense, he tried to play the First Amendment card, and it was rejected by the judge. Rejected.
Tell me how he deliberately lied, please.
Because he knew that it wasn't a hoax. He knew the massacre had happened.
Incorrect.
Let's listen to what he said.
That's incorrect.
Let's play what he said.
Hook, it's got inside job written all over it. Sandy Hook is a synthetic.
We actually have to, I can't play this part, but you guys have seen this clip, I'm sure, a million times. And it's just incorrect. I mean, why would he, Alex Jones, someone who, like I said a million times on this video, he's so well connected to this. He understands that they want to use whatever ammo they can to stop Alex Jones from exposing the things that he's exposing. And they've proven that a million times over. Why would he knowingly lie about something like this? Even if he did go a bit too far, maybe he got a bit hyped up and he said a few things that he probably shouldn't have said. Why would he deliberately lie? What does he gain out of that? Maybe he gains a few viewers. Maybe he gain. I don't even understand what he could gain from that. It doesn't make any sense to me. I just don't believe that he deliberately lied. But let's hear what else Piers Morgan has to say about this.
You and I disagree.
But he's also he
Stephen,
100%
you and I disagree. Hang on.
believed it, and
I'm
then
going to respond to
wrong.
you. You and I disagree about many things. We agree about many too, right? But on this point, you're a very smart guy. I wouldn't question that for a moment. You and I both know Alex Jones knew that was not faked, Sandy Hook. You and I both know that.
So I have to spit the words out that you just tried to place in my mouth. I do not know that. I don't agree with the premise, and you have yet to prove it. Here's the beauty, though.
I don't have to prove it.
Even if you were
The
to
court
commit
proved
defamation, even if no, it didn't, and even
It did.
assuming
It
that
found
you
him
don't
guilty
discuss
of
the caps
defamation
with your audience, and I'm going to continue speaking as though we're having a dialogue. Even assuming that you don't discuss the caps, that he would never pay out the far lower settlement that they have decided they would allow, considering this will go to a superior court and will get thrown out. Even if you allow all of those things, here's the beauty of the First Amendment. Here's the beauty of the First Amendment. Even if you at one point commit defamation, you still don't forfeit your right to speak going forward.
You don't.
You don't lose
I
a
agree.
fundamental human right.
I agree.
And that's not why he was banned from. That's not why he was banned from Twitter.
I know
that.
He was banned from Twitter. He was banned from Twitter for having a pop at some guy from CNN. I don't care about that. I'm more interested in why Elon Musk tweeted when he bought Twitter and was asked, will you bring back Alex Jones? He said, no, I won't allow somebody back on, having gone through the pain himself of a child dying in his own arms, one of his children. He wasn't going to allow someone who profited from the pain of dead children to be back on the platform. He then changed his mind, which he's allowed to do. He owns the platform. X is a private company owned by Elon Musk. He can do what he likes with it. But they also have a series of rules which are available on their website, which you can check about what is allowed and not allowed. And they will deplatform you if you transgress those rules. And my point to you is...
But the thing is, I mean, did Alex Jones say anything on that platform? Did he say any of these things that Piers Morgan is accusing him of saying and knowingly lying about on that platform? Because if not, then they're not obligated to enforce those rules. I don't even know if he did say those on those platforms, if they are still obligated. Like they don't have to enforce them if they don't want to, I don't think. But also, I kind of also reject the premise that he lied knowingly. I just don't see what he would gain out of that. Like I said, maybe some more viewership. Man, I don't even know. Let me know in the comments, what do you think he would have to gain from lying about it deliberately? I think he might have got a little bit too hyped up. He thought he had a big story, and maybe it didn't end up being as big as he thought it would be. But like I said, I'm also not an expert on that whole situation. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys think about this debate here between Steven Crowder and Piers Morgan? I think pretty obviously Steven Crowder won in my opinion, but I would really be curious to see what you guys think about this whole situation. It's definitely a messy one. And Steven Crowder versus Piers Morgan debates are pretty heated every single time. They've had a few of them. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about this whole Steven Crowder versus Piers Morgan situation.